This is from Narc Podcast. Since collecting goes in waves, Ian, do you see an upswing for Sega on the horizon? I think it's due.
I think that there's that potential. I don't necessarily think it's immediately on the horizon. We also talked about this during the collecting panel at MagFest. You gotta look at it this way. Nintendo was very popular. People collected for the NES. As people started to fill out their sets, they laterally moved to the Master System and the TurboGrafx. Fast forward 5 years, people who grew up with the Super Nintendo are collecting for the Super Nintendo. A lot of them are starting to get towards the end of that now. I do think we will see the Genesis get its due. I don't know if it'll be this year, maybe next year, but I think I predicted that even last podcast because someone asked for like trend predictions. I think the Genesis will go up in price. I do. It just makes sense. People always need places to go in retro gaming once they're done with something. And Genesis just makes sense. Especially because like the Master System, like the TurboGrafx, when those got big, the Genesis right now is cheap. The first few people who decide, fuck it, I'm going all in on Genesis, are going to get out of there with a collection where only a handful of games are going to cost them more than $100.
Well, you got Musha.
Musha and Senti are the Crusader Senti are the first ones that I always think of.
Herzog Zwei even worth that much?
No, I mean it's one of the harder to find games, but it's
$70 or something.
I sold my last copy for $30, and I think I double checked to make sure that was a fair price.
I was looking for Time Killers. It's like a $30 game.
Time Killers is yeah. See, here's the thing: like Time Killers and Herzog Zwei, the tier like just below Musha and Senti is like in the $25 to $50 range.
So it's almost like Master System. There's only a couple of games that are really worth over $100.
Yeah, I think I don't want to be part of it, but if you want to get into Genesis, do it now because yes. It will get a bump. I don't know if it'll be right away.
The only thing that has going against it, besides the fact that there's no new Sega systems,
that's always something I say too,
is the fact that half of the library is also on the Super Nintendo.
But to a collector, that wouldn't matter.
I'm just saying
to a completionist collector, that's not going to matter.
Yeah, but that's the only thing. At least it hurts to get into it. It's like okay, there's so much crossover. Obviously, there's good games that were not on the Super Nintendo or vice versa. But that's the only thing I'm saying that might hurt a little bit. It's not a unique set.
But to someone who's coming off of Super Nintendo, and it's well known that I'm not huge on the Super, but to someone who's coming off of Super Nintendo, it would be the same as someone who's coming off a Genesis collection. We were still at that weird point in time where a Genesis version of a game and a Super Nintendo version of the game could be wildly freaking different. The Tournament Fighters Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games, incredibly different. The Aladdin, wildly different. So, yes, there are some games that are going to be mostly the same, but I think there's going to be enough differences to keep it interesting for those who have finished up their Super Nintendo sets.